Hello and welcome to the Good, the Bad, the TNA Impact for the Final Resolution pay-per-view 2011. And I'm just going to go off and just go about the entire pay-per-view as a whole. And all in all, in the end, I felt this was a throwaway pay-per-view in the end. Honestly, the way that everything came out off on the pay-per-view, it just felt like it was another episode of Impact Wrestling, or extended episode of Impact Wrestling. Now granted, this has been the case for a lot of the pay-per-views this year, and including last month's Turning Point pay-per-view, where it just didn't feel like it was all that special, where you weren't trying to conclude anything, you weren't trying to do expand anything. And I'll go off and say this on about the matches themselves. The first 4 matches of the night, they were well done in the ring. Everything was well done in the ring throughout the night. The action in the ring was well done, and everything was pretty well done. But like the first 4 matches of the night, not too many people really cared about those matches. You wouldn't call those pay-per-view sellers. You had and you can even say that for the Knockouts match. And I'll get into that one in a few seconds as well. The RVD Christopher Daniels match, it was just a match. It was really actually one of the few what you would consider conclusions for the night, unless they continue the storyline afterwards. The Pope and Devon and Matt Morgan and Crimson, the tag team title match, it was kind of just there. I mean, they did a nice little tidbit in there, but you got nothing special out of it outside of probably a Devon Pope storyline going to be starting up here soon about his influence on the Suns and everything like that. Not too sure how many people would actually want to see that to begin with, so it looks like that's where they're going to go. Probably one of the best matches of the night, at least in ring wise, the Kid Cash Austin Aries match. Great match, fun X Division match to watch, and it always is a fun the X Division is always fun to watch to begin with. The problem is that you got 2 heels in there. Not too many people are going to really care about the match. The fans definitely showed appreciation for the match there, but it's one of those things that you just didn't really think you wouldn't think too much of, because it's 2 heels going at it. Eric Young and Robbie E, honestly, this storyline needs to end. Maybe this is ending it with the whole, Robbie E keeping the television title. Eric Young will either just go back to just full-on other comedy areas, or he will do something else, or maybe he's even done with the company. Who knows what's going to happen there. But those were pretty much matches that you put at the beginning of the show. Yes, they were all well done in the ring, and everything on that aspect, but not much there for selling the pay-per-view. The Knockouts match. Now, granted, the one bad thing that truly did happen in the match, or about the match, you can't even blame on Mickie James and Gail Kim. You got to put more on the production guys, because you had that massive botch where they were going to show the video package, they screwed that up, and were beginning to show the tail of the tape. Then they got the video package right, then they went to the tail of the tape area, and they ended up re-showing the video package again. So you can't really put that on the women. You can't put that on the Knockouts there. And the match itself was really well done. Nice little start to their storyline. And the reason why I say nice little start to the storyline is because with Madison Rayne kind of coming in there and interfering, they're going to have to do another match, or maybe 2 after this, for another pay-per-view to resolve the storyline. So that was a really well done match. The next match after that, with Kurt Angle and James Storm, great match, match of the night. Great storytelling going into the pay-per-view, and it was great storytelling continuing into the pay-per-view match. I liked how it seemed like James Storm was going to be completely out of it, or was completely knocked out, or in that area, and then his nice little comeback into winning the match itself. It was well done. This, in my mind, not in my mind, but probably they did this to put James Storm over, so he'll eventually have this, his match with Bobby Roode will eventually be a lot bigger than what it is already. So That was a really well done match. It was perfect, in my mind, perfectly booked and extremely fun to watch. The next two matches after that, well, honestly, if you watched any of my past videos, you know I don't think the Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett storyline should be continuing, but it did. And the match, the steel cage match, was booked poorly. Completely poor. It was overbooked, having Sting and Karen doing what they were doing in the cage. You see in the video package saying, you have Sting saying the only way to win was to get out of the cage, yet when they come back on the air, it's like, you can win by pinfall, submission, this, that. Too many little steps put in there, and they added another step going into that day. I was all right with the whole step of, Jeff Hardy wins, he gets a title shot at the next pay-per-view. Jeff Jarrett wins, Jeff Hardy's gone forever. Now they have an aspect of, if Jeff Hardy won, not only would he get the title shot, now Karen or Jeff would be fired. And then you have to turn in Thursday for that, because obviously Jeff won. They were going to put him in for a title shot. But the match itself, I just felt was booked poorly and just looked poor on TV. And going into the main event match, the 30-minute Iron Man match. Now, for the most part, the match was good. Great storytelling about the knee injury and everything like that, and AJ having a fight over that. The problem with booking the Iron Man match, booking the Iron Man match the way they ended up booking it at the end, is this is a pay-per-view match. It's supposed to be special. In most cases, you need to have a resolved winner. And in this case, especially in an Iron Man match, you could get away with a draw on Impact. You probably can't really get away with a draw on pay-per-view. And they went with a draw this time. Now, granted, I applaud them for going with a draw and going for something different. It just came off poorly on TV. It came off poorly for the pay-per-view. The Iron Man match is designed to be something special to end storylines. Now you have an unresolved storyline going into the upcoming weeks, and you have this pay-per-view match that's supposed to be with Jeff Hardy. So where all indications were going that they were going to have a one-on-one match with Bobby Roode and Jeff Hardy. Now it looks like it's going to be a triple threat. And in all honesty, the AJ Styles Bobby Roode thing could have ended tonight. It could have been resolved, have Bobby Roode, yes, maybe even cheat to win, but have a clear-cut winner to the match instead of having a draw match. And now you have no clear-cut winner. You have no resolution to your storyline, and now you have two storylines intertwining together for your next pay-per-view. And honestly, for good wrestling, you don't really need too much storyline thrown in there. You just really need one storyline instead of having a couple of them mixed into one match. And sorry, in all honesty, they needed to resolve this issue, especially with it being the main event of the pay-per-view. I mean, the match that honestly could have been the main event because of how they ended it, because there was resolution, there was everything, was the Kurt Angle James Storm match. It would have been actually a good way to end the night, when instead of ending the night on a draw and you have Bobby Roode walking up with the title, which obviously he's going to keep because of the draw, and then you have AJ Styles in the ring complaining. That's more of an Impact ending than it is a pay-per-view ending, at least in my mind. I don't know how anybody else feels on that. But honestly, overall, I feel it was a throwaway pay-per-view. The in-ring action was good, but storytelling just, well, sucked in my mind for the night. They had done well going up into the pay-per-view, and then they kind of it seemed like they threw stuff together, and it came off really badly for the pay-per-view. But like I said, this was a throwaway pay-per-view in my mind on that aspect. So That's all I really got to say about the pay-per-view. This was the good, the bad, the TNA Impact for Final Resolution. For anyone who's viewing this video and viewing it to this point, I will be doing a Raw vs. Wrestling tomorrow and for the review for Monday Night Raw. And I thank you guys for watching.